Hello and thanks for joining us on Box Banter. Timmy?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm tired.
Besides
tired
tired?
as
Yep.
shit.
Yep.
How are you on this fine early morning?
Yeah, tired.
Yeah.
It's,
So we're recording this right after the Grand Prix.
which is rare.
Which is rare.
This is an Australia special, like an Australian Grand Prix special normally.
Well, yeah, I mean, because usually we'd watch the race and then, you have the day to kind of debrief it and, think about it and mull it over and then...
Let the news come out,
Yeah,
headlines.
Yep. And then you'd pop over and we'd, record the episode in the dark hours of the night. But instead, we're recording this in the dark hours of the morning.
Very dark, very early. Yeah.
I got to be honest, I don't know how the hell I'm functioning. I haven't had a single coffee. I have no caffeine in my system.
Yeah, right. Okay. You're prepping for bedtime. You're
I've
prepping
raw
to get
dogged
straight
it.
back into bed.
I raw dogged the race and I'm raw dogging the pod.
You look tired.
Do I?
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Well, look, to be fair, I always look tired. So.
You look extra tired.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Just the pep up I needed before we record.
Yeah.
So.
This is the home stretch. We had to watch. Luckily, the race was mildly okay. It was pretty good.
The race was great.
Yeah. If it wasn't, it may have been a struggle. Like an extra struggle.
That felt strange to say because we've spent the last couple of months just shitting all over the F1.
Yeah.
So to sit here now and say that I was genuinely entertained by that race and, we got up at an awful hour to watch it here in Australia, that's what we have to do. But, we'll complain about it.
We will, yeah.
We'll complain about it. But, it was worth getting up for.
Yeah,
I think,
it was.
at the end.
I mean, I was up at 2:15 to then also drive here to watch it. But these are the sacrifices that I'm happy to make if Formula One will put on such a race.
Yeah, I mean, you got the guys in Europe who podcast. You got a few guys in America. They're not dedicated like us. They're not going to get up for the majority of the year at stupid o'clock to watch the race and then talk
Especially
about it
the
hours
Europeans.
later. So,
it's pretty much catered.
Yeah.
Catered. The sport's pretty well catered for their
100%.
nice watch times.
And yet we still have to deal with what kind of time is this for the Australian GP season open?
Yeah.
I was like, calm down.
There's 18 races that are like prime time, 6 p.m.
Yeah. So, safe to say that the adjustments that the FIA F1 implemented are a big improvement so far?
So far, yeah. Yeah, there seemed to be a nice balance. We saw some great overtakes where it was a perfect mix of the Mario Kart gimmicks put you in a position to execute if you have the ability to execute. There's a lot of late breaks. And then if you fail, we'll get into some of the incidents, but if you fail to execute, there's consequences. Because you need to execute the move. The battery and the boost mode and all the straight lines, all the gimmicks, they just need to put you in a position to overtake. And I felt like with this track at least, that's what they did.
Yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes with other tracks.
Yeah.
Miami's. I guess there are some pretty easy overtaking corners. So when we move to, I feel like Canada's probably the same. There's probably a couple of Canada and Miami track wise are very, very similar. So I don't think we'll see any vast differences there.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, the car seems a little bit more balanced in terms of attack and defend.
Yeah.
And it seems, I guess, like there's more responsibility on the driver to make moves.
You have to move in the corner.
And
you don't
actually
just drive
earn
past.
earn the overtakes. So Piastri did say in the cool down room that he still feels like he's pretty much defenseless. And I would agree, but I don't think it's the same level of defensivelessness. That's a hard word to say.
That was
at
tough.
5 a.m. in the morning.
It's a tough word to listen to.
Compared to what it was in the last rounds, where it was literally like you are just like we had Verstappen literally just waving cars by because it's just like you're on full throttle and
there's nothing
else.
Yeah, exactly. The car's got 300 more and 350 more kilowatts driving past you.
Yeah, and I guess having that long back straight there gave us a sort of a taste of what we spoke about coming up with tracks like Baku, where it's like you've got you got long distances to cover, and hitting super clipping, within
half
you
straight.
probably beforehand. So you still could see at Miami before they hit the braking zone, it would still top out.
Yeah.
But it was nowhere near.
It was nowhere near as bad.
No.
They seemed to be super clipping in qualifying at least, because I was surprised they were even showing the onboards after Japan and
they had all the graphics back and everything.
Yeah. But going into the final big braking zone of the track, that last sort of hairpin before the last two corners, you could hear them super clipping, but it wasn't much. Like, and again, we're still talking about it, so it's still there, but it's not 600 meters before the corner. It was kind of like, it seemed more like a traditional, like a racing lifting coast where you just sort of 50 meters, 100 meters before your braking zone, you just lift off. Like, it was minimal, and that is a long straight. So like, yeah, there's longer with Baku and probably Spa, but they did test these regs on a track with, at least one very long straight, but a couple of straights where they'd be using a lot of boost.
Yeah.
Or battery.
I still got a sense, so the last like hairpin corner going back into the front straight, I still got a sense that there's not really an opportunity to do like, I guess like old school late braking maneuvers, because you are still super clipping and you're kind of naturally decelerating, and there is still a little bit of a lift and coast there.
Yeah.
But, we saw with like Verstappen, he was able to aggressively make his way through the field and just basically carve up the whole grid.
Yeah.
And a lot of his work was done on that corner. Yeah. And, there were times where it was like, you could see it was as easy as pie to make the move. But there were times where there was a legit battle between a car trying to defend and a car attacking that corner to get the overtake. So I think, bravo to the Formula One for making the adjustments and, giving us an exciting race, or an entertaining race at least.
Yeah. And you spoke about last week, you're worried about top speeds. I believe I saw the Haas's clocked out at 350 kilometers an hour. So
350.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
So the top line speed is still very much there. I mean, I don't know how you get much quicker than that. That's fast.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Like I said, I mean, we go to the sprint, but like that was its own problem, and that had me very nervous.
Yeah.
For the race.
Yeah. The taste that we got with the sprint made me kind of dread coming into this. Yeah. I was like, oh man,
I agree.
I'm getting up at a fucked up time.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to have to try and not fall asleep on stream and watch 57 laps of nothingness. But no, I'm very surprised to say it was the complete opposite of that. So.
Yeah. And there seemed to be, there was a lull, but even during the lull moments, there was still, mid-pack, backpack battles happening.
Mid-pack, backpack battles.
Yeah. Like, they may not have been
tired.
Yeah. Oh, mate. Count me in that group. That's what I mean. There was still battles sort of throughout the field. It just had really calmed down at the front, sort of, or the whole top 10 really. So, but yeah, I mean, if we get on to Max.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I love it. Like, you often hear, like, there's two ways to run a race. There's balls to the wall, and then there's, you look at your overall completion time and how to maximize that, and that's why you don't see drivers battling.
Well, the classic thing is remember our race. We're not racing
him, and
so don't get caught up in it.
Yeah. So normally you'd see even a driver that has that pace. It's like you're taking measured moves. You're not taking risks. You don't want to pass him in this corner because it's going to cost you like an extra second, as opposed to just drafting up behind him on a straight. Mm-hmm. He was just see gap, take gap. And some of them cost him time, like the move with Albon, where massive dive bomb, misses the apex, keeps on track, but then Albon, passes him back. It's like that would have cost him race time.
And squeezes him into the bollard.
Yeah, exactly. Very unpleasant. Like, the quicker thing to do, what most people do is, what we saw is stay behind him and then just pass him into turn one. And it's like, Max is like, no, if I can get the move done here, come to turn one, I'm already ahead. Job's done. You're not fluffing about. You in his mind, like, that's a quicker option. If you can execute, that's a quicker option. So you had a few of those battles where it's like, you probably cost yourself a bit of time, but that's what we're here to see. We don't want to see him just the simple boost overtake. You want to see gap, make gap, take gap, go.
Yeah, like the last era of F1 was very much you got overtaken and then there was nothing you could do. And that was it. Game over. You're in dirty air. You know, if you had older tires, like forget about it. There was just no chance. So, you know, you could defend, but as soon as you lost the position, it was pretty much that was it. Game over. This has sort of shifted from you can attack straight after. You can, like Max had shown, well, he showed everyone really, because he was on both ends of it, of, you know, if you got overtaken, you could then fight back. It wasn't like, oh, that's it now, I can't do anything. I'm just stuck behind them in dirty air. It was like, no. You still have an opportunity to get that position back and hold that position too.
Yeah.
And like, whether it was for only a lap or so, or whether you could actually hold on to it, which we've seen as well. Either way, it gave a driver who, like, I suppose when you're at the mercy of the DRS, you know, that was essentially a somewhat easy overtake. And then that meant that car couldn't really fight back, and that was it. So it's kind of fixed that problem, hasn't it? Where it's like, all right, you might be at the mercy of the boost button, but you still have an opportunity to fight back and take that position back. And that's really all we want. That's you want a good balance of offense and defense. Yeah. And the way Max, like his race was just, he had a little bit of everything, but
it's not done yet. And Prix won't
no
find the end result till later in the day.
Yeah, I mean, he dropped down to 16th and made his way back up to 5th. And it was all through overtaking. It wasn't through benefiting from a safety car or a sort of big incident that took out a handful of cars. Like, he had to literally overtake 11 cars to get himself back to that position. I'm sure that there was a few pit stops in there, but overall, quite impressive.
Yeah, 100%. And he got a bit lucky with Leclerc. Like, that was, if you're talking about luck and handouts, that was probably the only one, is Leclerc, having his incident and then him losing 2 spots on the final lap. And he only just, got around him to take that spot. So that was probably the only freebie. Like, Red Bull made him earn his money today.
Well, I said it during the race. That's what I love about Max. Some people, and maybe these people have only watched a more modern version of Formula One, but some people think that he's too aggressive and he's too, like, he's an arsehole on track or whatever. Where I think I'm in the same sort of camp as you. If there's an opportunity to make a position, go for it. Yeah. And he makes every driver earn an overtake on him. Yeah. He doesn't lay down. He doesn't pull to the side. He makes you fight for it, and he's going to fight you back for it too. And I respect that. I think that that's the way every driver should be. And it doesn't matter who your quote-unquote races with. Every position's for position. Yeah. Every car is fighting for points. So to me, he goes about it the right way. So say what you want about the guy and maybe his overly aggressive nature. I think if there was more people that had his racing style, the race overall is far more entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. It's the one gripe is he gets angry when he gets squeezed towards the bollard.
He's on the wrong end of it.
Yeah, it's like he comes on the radio and, oh mate, you can't do that. You push me. It's like, okay, you got to understand. People don't often fight him back, so it's good when they do.
If you're going to give it, make sure you can take it.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's no dramas because then you pass him back on the next corner. But someone squeezing into a bollard is half as bad as some of the stuff that Max has been up to.
Oh yeah,
in the past.
All right, so Kimi Antonelli racked up another win. So 3 poles this season. Sorry, 2 poles this season. No, where are we at?
3
this season.
This is his 3rd pole on the trot.
And converted to a win. Yeah. So bit of history there.
First driver to ever do that. Yep.
Which is
convert
insane.
Their first 3 career. It's a mouthful. It's like an ESPN stat. First 3 career poles consecutively to then convert to wins as well.
Yeah, is it? I guess it's a little niche, but I guess good on him. It's one of those things where it's like you're always surprised that there's still records left to be broken after we've gone through the Verstappen rookie era, the Vettel rookie era, the Hamilton rookie era. You kind of go, is there anything left to be broken? And then this kid comes along, and he's niche or not. Still finding records to break. Yeah. And
that's the funny thing, how close he really was to getting the youngest ever win. And I was talking about it last year, towards back in the last year, whatever race it was like, this is his last chance. But we knew he wasn't in a race-winning position.
Yeah.
George was lucky most of the time to get the 1 or 2 wins he got last year, and we knew Kimi wasn't in a position to do it. But then they come out this year and he's got the youngest pole sitter, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Youngest to lead a championship.
Yep.
Now the first driver to do this mouth scrabble word of a stat.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was quite close, and it's a shame because he couldn't have been much younger to get into the sport. That's the truth. So
Well, no, and like that opportunity for any driver is pretty much taken away, right?
exactly.
So,
Like you need to be. I mean, Max is special, and he wasn't even in the best car that day. That's the thing. Like Kimi's in the best car this year, so the Max taking that win, like he deserves to stay the youngest driver to win a race forever because he was in the best car. Circumstances aside, like he wasn't, So that's a record that'll probably never be broken because like you have to be 18 to just race, and then so you pretty much have to try to win it in your rookie year. Like Max was a 17-year-old rookie, which is why they changed the rules, So that's a record that'll just absolutely wouldn't just never be broken.
he's very much positioned himself as now like who else can go ahead and win this thing. He's done it at 3 different tracks, and has the lead of the championship.
But 20 points, he's nearly a race winner.
But that is huge. I mean, we saw last year how vital that was, having roughly about a race win, because it was a case of like now you can afford to have like seconds and thirds because you're not bleeding a lot of points. You just don't want a DNF.
That's the thing, Oscar.
But even if you do, you're not taken out of the fight entirely, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, him racking up this point advantage over George, as you'd probably still have to say, is probably his biggest competitor, even though this weekend George was a little bit just kind of nowhere. He's looking like he's he can go on and do this.
The thing is he's doing it in qualifying. Like anything can happen in the race that can skew results, but qualifying is where you see the true pace and ability. And the fact that he's now gone on and gotten 3 poles quite easily. I mean, I don't know what was going on with George's weekend, but it just seemed. I mean, he had to fight Max of all people to get that pole. Like he had to fend off Norris, who got the sprint pole. Like he had some real competition outside of his team this weekend, and he was able to. I mean, he beat Norris in the race. Like, they undercut him. Great strat. Like, but he still had to race him and stay ahead. And then, the pole position in the qualifying was a head-to-head against Max.
You kind of have to laugh because, his I guess one weakness in his game is his race starts, and now F1 have kind of fixed that.
Well, not really. Seemingly, like he struggled this weekend in both races.
No, but what I was going to say is instead of it now him struggling with like the actual race start, now it's overshooting your braking mark, locking up, and losing lead in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
So
it's funny. He said he didn't expect this. I heard he said after the race, I didn't expect Charles to brake so early. That's why I locked up. And I was like, Charles, of the 3 that were going into turn 1, Charles the only one didn't lock up, which makes me think he hit his braking marker. And you, like Kimi and Max, actually broke late.
Yeah,
like, that made me chuckle. I was like, he broke early.
That doesn't make
any
sense.
And that made you lock up. I think you just broke late.
Yeah. I mean, Leclerc threaded that needle perfectly in between the 2 locked up cars.
I'm calling it now. It wasn't even that. It was. He was already clear of Kimi. Kimi was on the outside. He slid between Max, who was locking up, and maybe it was Norris behind him. Like, those are the risks you take. You risk it for the biscuit. Those are the risks you take. If he cuts across the nose of Norris, it's race over there.
Yeah.
And Max probably sails onto the win, It's that simple. But he just went for that gap. I mean, he literally basically went from the outside of the track to the inside, which then cramped up Max, which forced him into that spin. Like, yeah, that's move of the year already, and I dare say that'll be the move of the year all year.
What did I say on stream? Who's going to crack first? Ferrari or Leclerc? Those sorts of moments show that like he's a talented driver who could definitely win a world championship if he just has the right car underneath him and a team that doesn't just seem to consistently nerf his race strategy. But yeah, pulling off a move like that, he's always been a high IQ driver.
Yeah,
and that was a perfect show of that. But yeah, I mean, last week we were saying about the most exciting part of a race is turn 1, lap 1, and this showed why. Especially when you got a handful of genuine contenders where it's like anyone could come out in front here. We saw Piastri jump from 7th to 4th or 3rd, 4th.
4th, yeah. Off the line, yeah.
Yep, off the line. So after one corner, already had undone a lot of the damage that qualifying had done to his own race.
And he didn't even get to pass Kimi, who was the one who, gave all the positions away.
Yeah,
he didn't even get him.
No. So it was nice to see that return as well. So
yeah, I hope Leclerc apologises to his team because in hindsight, that was the right call to pit when they did. They didn't really need to cover Russell. I mean, he had no pace. But
all he was asking was just inform me first. He wants to do a little bit of the strategizing as well. So.
But he ended up, he should have finished third. He was definitely in contention to finish third. Should have finished third, could have finished third, entering the last lap. So Ferrari seems to have made the right choice. I mean, Max showed that you could do plenty of laps. Like, he didn't get the result. But again, like you said, he was 16th he was 8th when he pitted. He came out 16th, finished 5th. So, they proved the tyres, again, Pirelli, fantastic tyre manufacturers. Not great for racing. Probably great for the road. But the tyres, they were degrading. Obviously, lap time was falling off. But the fact that they can still safely and comfortably completed pretty much a whole Grand Prix on one set of tyres is still a problem, in my opinion.
It's like an endless well of rubber.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they want the hard tyres definitely were the raciest tyres, but they're also the longest lasting tyres. So it's like, God, like...
Yeah, which then basically nullifies the soft tyre, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And the two-stop strategy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. That's what it needs to be. The soft needs to be more robust, where Max could have said, all right, as soon as George got to his tail, all right, pit me, we'll end up 20 seconds behind on a soft tyre with 20 to go. If they could do that and you could be up to a second and a half quicker, then you go, all right, like that makes the end of the race interesting. You're watching Max tick over the laps, catching the car ahead, and they'll come to a head at the end of the race.
In all honesty, like with all the changes that Formula One has had over the last few years, that one thing is the thing that I miss the most. The driver who's coming, the driver that's had like a little bit of a different strategy, who comes in, puts a set of softs on, and he's got 10 laps to try and chase down the leader. And then you're just locked in and you're like, can he chase him down? Can he get this win by, going a bit more of a bold strategy? And now now all of a sudden you've got a driver that's pushing the limits. They're just extracting everything out of the car. They're trying to find time all over the track. And then on the flip side of that, you got a driver who's trying to hang on and trying to get to the end, and they're just trying to find grip wherever they can. We just don't have that anymore. That's gone. I think that's a big loss.
And the last time I feel like that was a thing was 2021. I remember that numerous times through that Max v Lewis year, where it was always a question of if someone's going to do it, who's going to do it first? Because you can't do it second. If you do it second, you're immediately like, if you do it from second place, you've undercut if first reacts. If they go, pit to that. Like the offset of the tyre speed was so great that you couldn't. And then if you're the leader, it's like, well, you could do it. Like you're already leading, but if you do it, then you make that move. And then so there was always, doesn't matter who was in first and who was in second, it was always like, if they're going to do it, who's going to do it?
Yeah.
And then it was a lot of the time, one of them did it. And it was, you'd see them march back, and because especially back then where it was just those two, it's like, you're never going to lose more than second.
No.
So if you're already the second place car, you'd almost always do it and then just try and get to the front. And it just created those, like the race like today, where it's the lull in the middle. That was about when it would happen. And then you'd be like, all right, cool. You're locked back in. Yeah, you're not seeing racing on track, but what you're seeing is he going to do it? You're watching, is he going to do it? Is he going to be able to catch the car ahead and then make the move? And then, as they come together, it plateaus, and you have to, then the race is on, because his tyres aren't as good anymore, but they're locked back in together to get the move done.
And it's always so hard to tell as well, like, because whenever they do it, you go, there's no way they can make that 20 seconds up or whatever it might be, 18 seconds up. But then as it winds down, you go, oh shit, he might actually be able to do it. And it creates just such an intensity to the race all of a sudden. So,
they just need to open up the options. Like for strat. Just have a tyre that's...
Because obviously they're never going to increase the race distance to then try and bring strategy back into it.
Yeah.
So it's going to have to be a case of change of tyres or...
Because it just needs to be... I mean, they know what they're doing. They're practically scientists that are making the tyres. Like, the two-stop and the one-stop need to be similar in like how much it costs you. I don't know if it's the speed discrepancy between the field. They don't want to pitch her, and then all of a sudden you saw Oscar in Imola last year, where it's like you just pit out of sync and then you're just stuck in traffic. I don't know what it is. Like the field spread's not enough, or there's too many cars. But yeah, they need to find a way to introduce the second stop as a viable option.
Yeah. Oscar Piastri racks up another podium. So stoked for him. Stoked for us.
100%
Stoked for
podium
our countrymen.
finishing streak.
Yes.
This year.
Two from two.
2 from 2 out of race 4.
Had an okay sprint. Didn't really have anything to answer to Norris. So that's a little concerning. Feels like whatever upgrades that they've done to this car are suiting Norris far better than they are suiting Oscar. So whether this is going to be another thing, what we went through last year of like a learning curve of now I have to drive the car differently because it's not really my style.
It feels like that.
Has that shade, doesn't it? Yeah. And then when you look at him finishing 25 seconds off Norris, that's how? How does that happen? So
was it Canada last year when they decided, all right, we need to be running the same suspension or wing, whatever it was, and then they went down the Norris. They chose Norris's what he would prefer, and then the season shifted pretty dramatically after that. That's what it.
And anyone who
that
tells me
feel.
that McLaren aren't going to, basically, if it comes down who are we backing, you're going to pick the guy that you gave a championship to last year and who has the number one on their car, right?
Yeah, I mean, it just feels that way. Like at the gate, you never know what you're going to get. Piastri goes out 3 times, out qualifies him, gets the team's first podium, and at his first attempt of racing this season. And then they bring upgrades, and then all of a sudden he didn't have anything for Norris this weekend, and it's crazy.
So stoked that he got the podium, and I was glad that he was able to find that little bit of extra something to get the overtake done on Leclerc and secure the podium. But yeah, I do look at it and I think, that's awesome. Neville was looking to fight for a race win. Obviously, he had some issues with qualifying, but more concerning is the pace of Norris. Like, how is there such a big difference there? So hopefully he can get his head around the car and not, bleed too many points.
Well, that's where it's hard because you can't even say it's the track because he came out last year and won it all here. Yeah. So it's like he's clearly fine with the track. It's not a track thing like we see with him in the back half of the American races. It's obviously for whatever reason something to do with. It's inexplainable, to be honest. It's got to be something to do with the car. I mean, he said, I believe he said something after the race about, this weekend had a lot of challenges or a lot of learnings. Again, just more like last year, just carrying on about something.
We know that he's a very what was the word, methodical. Yeah. So he probably likes the car to feel a certain way, and I'd say probably he likes to whatever. Like when he hits the brake, when he hits the accelerator, the steering wheel, he likes to know it's going to be responsive in that sense. Whereas like Norris might be more along the lines of he likes to have the rear end slipping out a bit more or whatever it is. That it's the same thing. The car is now not really designed to his strengths. Yeah. So it's like if the car was designed to his strengths, well, he could go on and be world champion. We literally saw that last year until they changed the upgrades. This is probably the same sort of thing, where it's like if they design the car to his strengths, he could go out there and probably be the one competing for the wins. Yeah. But if it is more designed to Norris's strengths, he's going to be playing catch up.
Exactly. And that's not news in Formula One. Obviously, drivers always have different techniques and how they get speed out of a car. And the problem is they say we're fair. That's the problem. They claim we're fair, everything's fair. But then you just... If they have such severe differences in how they extract speed from a car, and then you force both drivers on the same research path, but there's always going to be someone
you're fighting with one hand tied behind your back.
Yeah. And that's why these teams need to have either 2 drivers that have a very similar driving style, or you just have a number 1 and the number 2 just deals with it, which is what we saw at Red Bull. Yeah. With Perez, he clearly could not drive what Max could drive. The car had pace, so if Max wasn't around, he could still get the win. Back when he was like 2021, 2022. Yeah. But as soon as Yeah, as soon as Max is there, it's like the car's designed for him. Max has that ability to drive an oversteer car. Like a car with a little bit of oversteer is fast if you can handle it. A car that just turns into the corners is agile and oversteery but fast. And not all drivers are comfortable with that, let alone can extract the pace out of it. So, and that's generally what the best, what you consider your best drivers are the ones who can drive a car with those tendencies.
Well, it could also be part in experience, right? So, like, when you're driving these machines doing 350 kilometers and it's slipping out under you, you're probably touching cloth, Once you kind of get used to that feeling and understanding how to control it, that's going to take time, right?
Yeah.
You got 24 opportunities per year to get your head around the car, but then every track is different. So you're only visiting the track once a year. You got to wait 12 months till you come back, and then you got to remember the corners and how the car and how the car responds in certain areas. So, as you get into your peak window, which typically forget about your Kimi Antonellis for a minute. Your peak window is probably in your late 20s, where you've got quite a few races under your belt. You know how the tracks feel. You know where the grip is, where it's not. You know what the car is going to kind of do. Maybe that's what we're seeing with Norris a little bit. He's kind of hit that level of confidence and experience now that he can comfortably handle a car if it's a little bit more, understeery.
I don't think it's an experience thing. It's really what type of racing you did when you're coming up. It's just comfortable with the car that has that attitude. And this is what does make sense to me. I feel like it should be the opposite for those two. I mean, we see how good Oscar is in the rain. The rain is obviously slippery.
Yeah,
right?
which we're never going to see that again. So.
Well, yeah. Like he was always, doesn't matter what happened over the last sort of this whole career, like, even before the McLarens were dominant, he had it hand over fist over Norris in the rain. Every time it rains. Think of Silverstone 23, I'm guessing.
Well, even last year.
Yeah, well, last year, I'm saying before they had the car, like he was always in the rain, he was absolutely fine. And then, Silverstone last year carves out a 30-second lead off his own back. But then they say, the reason Oscar had such troubles last year in the back half of the year is because they're all low grip surfaces. And he, doesn't like that. But then it's like, well, this is what doesn't make sense. How can a driver be excellent in the rain, but then struggle on low grip surfaces? Which in Formula One, I don't think any surface is low grip.
Yeah.
I mean, they repave Monaco every year. Like, these tracks are very well kept. There's some surfaces, the Middle East tracks, like, it's a desert out there. The sand is ripping away the surface at all times. So, there's going to be some that are a little low grip than others, but they can't just throw a blanket over the last 6 races of the year and say, these are all low grip surfaces. And that's why he struggles.
Yeah.
So I just wonder if it's actually the opposite. Oscar can enjoy a car that is a little more oversteery. Maybe Norris needs a car that's more
like the other way
planted.
around. Yeah.
He wants a car that has a little bit more understeer in it, but then he can feel that and he can trust the car. And then just simply being able to trust the car and trust in yourself that you're going to know the next move the car's about to make, you're able to extract speed. Whereas Oscar wants to feel the car a bit more free.
Which probably then goes hand in hand with the tyre deg. The McLarens have been very good at preserving their tyres and not overheating.
Yeah.
So if the car is naturally
more planted,
it's not going to generate as much heat. So, all right, let's move into the categories, and then we can go Betty Bice. So.
Yeah.
All right. So as always, we start with the final boss. So the 3 contenders I will give you for the Miami Grand Prix are Kimi, converting yet another pole to a win. So that's, as we mentioned, the 3rd one.
Yep.
So pretty worthy of a final boss.
Pretty worthy.
Achievement.
Pretty worthy. Yeah.
Verstappen, spinning, slipping down to 16th, and then fighting his way back up through the field to 5th.
Yep.
Standard Verstappen stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nothing we haven't seen before.
No, that's right.
But also very final boss worthy.
Yep.
The 3rd one, I've decided to give this to the regulation changes. So F1 doing, I guess, what needed to be done to save the season when you can't do anything major, at least until potentially next year.
Yeah.
And I use the word major loosely. It's not like we're going to have V10s next year or anything. So, yeah.
I think, like Max, I love the idea of giving it to Max, but these are just Max things. I was called out early in the stream. I said, he's going to win this race now. He's won 2 races in his career after doing a 360.
If we did, this is where weather plays, I think, an important effect on the sport. If we did have a normal start time, which would have been in about 15 minutes from now,
I bet you there's no rain there right now, mind you.
Yeah, I bet there's no storm or nothing. Yeah. Then let's say rain does come. Let's say Max is leading the field there, as he was for a little bit, gets a safety car due to the weather incident.
Exactly.
He's leading the race.
Yeah.
And he potentially goes on and gets a win. So, we're kind of. Am I keeping you up, buddy?
I think
we're kind of robbed of those sorts of things when F1 goes.
We're not going to race in the rain. Yeah. They're taking out that natural element that comes with racing and natural selection, and who's good in the rain gets that opportunity to do it. And then teams like who didn't score points, Haas, like they need wet races to just allow stuff to happen to get points. Like
that's the thing. When you've got Red Bull, looking back on pace, you have to say. You got McLaren, you got Mercedes, you got Ferrari. That's 8 cars already taking up
pretty
points.
Much locked in those.
So you got 2 positions to score points.
Yeah.
And even then, it's only 1 and 2 points. So it's barely, that can be undone very quickly.
Yeah.
So you're right. It does kind of, for those lower tier teams, just nullify them.
Yeah.
So
you can't give it to Max for a 5th place finish. That's a problem. And I do love what the FIA have done. We've discussed it. They did do what needed to be done. And when we discussed it last week, it seemed like a whole lot of nothing, like very minute changes. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to anyone. I don't know what it really did to make qualifying more exciting. I don't know. I didn't watch it go, this is so much better.
Yeah.
But whether it's the reason the race was as good as it was, and it probably had something to do with it, that's a big tick. But you just got to give it to Kimi Antonelli. I mean,
he looks solid.
Damn, man. Like, he just... Not even for the records, but the fact that he's just come in and just go to Australia. All right, this is probably right. He's just going to come second to Russell all year. Go to China, the sprint, same thing. Just finishes second to Russell. And you're like, all right, this makes sense. This is how it should be. And then he just flipped the script. And he just has no signs of stopping. Like,
no.
To come into this weekend, and like I said, the 1v1 against Max to get pole is the headliner, in my opinion. It's not he beat Russell again. It's not, it was easy. He came out on the first run in Q3, set a lap quick enough to, and I think his second lap he went off, didn't he? So that first lap he had to do it, and he did it. And that's important. And then it was quick enough that
that
was second run.
His banker. He got the banker in, and his banker was good enough to basically...
To take the whole thing. Yeah.
Basically fend off Verstappen, who was primed and charged to set the best lap that he possibly could have in that circumstance.
Like he obviously...
And it was a narrow margin too. Like he only just...
It was only down to like a 10th or something.
Yeah.
Like Max had obviously the last run. The last run's always going to be the best run with tyre rubber going down the track, temperature coming out of the track. And then he was the last runner on new tyres and he couldn't get it done. So that to me is that's the headline of his weekend. Taking it to Max and then having the whole race play out like he did. I think it's got to go to Kimi.
I agree. We'll give it to Kimi there. So the noob achievement. Your contenders are Hadjar clipping the inside of turn 14. Lawson flipping Gasly. I know that's a personal favourite of yours. Yeah. Or Leclerc's final lap antics. So so just to elaborate on the antics. So Leclerc on the back straight closed up his wing early and basically gave the position to Oscar with what seems like the intention to then re-overtake him on the front straight. So give him the best chance to keep the podium position there. Yeah. But it doesn't work out for him, does it?
Not at all.
He gets a big snap of oversteer coming out of the corner. Yeah. Has no traction. Can't attack Piastri at all. But then obviously he's pushing very hard that he almost completely bins the whole thing. Somehow saves it. Like that saving moment alone is final bus worthy. Yeah, the car control, the presence of mind. Yeah. I think you said it that he released the brake.
When he released the brake, when he did, was what saved the back end of that car from swinging around and riding it off.
Like the walls are closing in on you.
Yeah.
How he kept it off? I don't. I mean, he didn't technically keep it off, but he didn't.
He didn't write the whole car off, and
Yeah.
he got points.
So
That's a tough one. I mean, I really want. Had he not given it to Lawson for a dumb move, and it was a dumb. You're allowed to race, but that move was clearly not on. I mean, he didn't even just lock up. He locked up and then missed the apex by a car width.
well, Gasly could not give him any more room.
He was opening that door for him, and he held it open like an incredibly polite person.
Yeah.
And Lawson was just he just did not have it. And then I mean, you don't want to give it to him for the ramifications, but man, you don't see Formula 1 cars going over that often. At all.
Almost never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the last time we would have seen it was Hulkenberg at Yas Marina. I don't even know. Was that 2020? Like 5-6 years ago?
You had
Like-
Zhao Guanyu.
Oh, you're right.
He
yeah.
had the skidding on the
And I
on
guess
the roof.
technically Sonoda last year as well flipped in Imola in quali.
Mm.
So,
Yes.
I guess
yes,
there's been a
yes.
couple,
Yeah.
but like it definitely
rare.
feels rare, especially like one-on-one racing like that, like to flip the car over. It's pretty nuts. So I want to give it to him, but I think I might give it to Charles.
Okay.
I mean, to think you can outsmart Oscar. I mean, we said it. The methodical nature of this man. He would have seen that wing shut, and then he also would have started. I mean, his wing was still open, but he probably at least released the battery.
Yeah.
Like as soon as
Start
that wing
harvesting.
shuts, I'm pretty sure you're super clipping.
Yeah.
Like I don't know the full ins and outs of these cars, but I'm pretty sure wing shut, you're super clipping. Your straight line mode's off. Your full harvest, like full harvest. So even though Oscar's straight line mode was still on, if he just releases that battery button, he's then not using his battery. He's not necessarily harvesting, but he's gaining whilst saving battery.
Yeah.
And that's what he would have done. As soon as he's seen those wings shut, he would have been like, okay, I know what you're doing.
Yeah. I did this last round with
And it was
Russell.
early too. It wasn't like
It was almost like he had a problem at first.
exactly. Yeah, that's what it seemed like. It was so early. And it even turned, I don't know if you noticed, but I don't know if it's automatic, but it opened again when Oscar passed him.
Oh, did it? Yeah, no, I didn't notice that,
The
yeah.
Ferrari's wings all opened back up again.
So he confused the hell out of the car. The
Yeah,
car was like, all right, I don't know where I am or
Yeah.
what the hell I'm doing.
So it's almost like the car automatically goes into, I mean, maybe it does. Again, I don't know. But so he tries to outsmart Oscar, which is a hard thing to do in the first place. But then he outsmarts himself. Like he gives a position up. And we saw this stuff from Leclerc years ago with Max, the racing to the DRS line, trying to be the last car there, and everyone's locking their brakes up and stopping on the track, basically. So he outsmarts himself frequently, and that's what he did.
Yeah, I agree. I'm happy to give him the new because I think it cost him. It cost him.
Well,
two,
he went from
two
third to
positions.
sixth.
Well, three. Okay,
Like,
it's 3 positions.
He was fighting for third. If he just races again, the Max race, just do the best you can. Take every move you can. Hold that position as long as you can.
Yeah.
Like if he tries anything else, just a normal race. And we saw Oscar this race. He wasn't doing those desperate moves. He was very too calculated, too
Very-
measured in
very
his
patient.
passes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't like, I'm taking this gap, even when he probably should have. Feel like he really was, and he got him a third place. So who am I to say? But yeah, Oscar was not doing desperate moves, and Leclerc should have recognised that and
I
just played
understand
smarter.
the willingness to do whatever you need to do to try and keep that podium position, especially because Ferrari feels like they're they're teetering now.
Yeah, they're sloping a little.
Yeah. So I understand that. But the DRS line battles are no better, but this is kind of what these regulations breed.
Yeah.
That's not racing.
It's
That's not racing. It's strategy, yes, but it's not racing.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting, and it would have been interesting to see how it played off, but man, would it have been disappointing if Leclerc drove past at 90 kilometers an hour faster down the front straight to turn one? No one would have enjoyed seeing that.
No.
But so it's almost just sweet justice that he got that big snap, which prevented his run into turn one. And then, like you said, he was obviously just busted his balls trying to just hustle that car.
Yeah.
At that time, and he
Try get back into an overtaking window.
I mean, I thought we were going to cut back and just see red parts everywhere.
Yeah.
Like when he was gone. I mean, that car is heading to the left while the corner is heading to the right, and I was like, this is going to be disappointing end of the race here, but it's going to be the end of the race. It's going to be a mighty whack. And then he's driving away, and visibly no damage to the car. And it was hard to believe until, of course, he gets to the next corner and he's plowing like
it was a Miami miracle.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he, like I said, he scored points. So I mean, we'll see. He's under investigation as we speak for
Well,
driving a car in an unsafe manner.
That's the hard part about doing the pod this early is, apparently there's like a whole textbook of things that the FIA need to go
Yeah.
through. So things could change. He could be disqualified, and this could be all for
Null
nothing.
and void. But we're here now, and we'll keep we'll keep
keep an eye
keep
out.
updated. Yeah.
All right. So the buffed achievement. Now, I'm giving this. I'm nominating Verstappen again here because I think he probably showed he was the best driver on track.
Because you knew he wasn't going to get the final boss. Give him a second.
No,
second
honestly,
bite
I
of
didn't
cherry.
know. I didn't know. I thought maybe he might get the final boss because a lot of overtakings, very aggressive.
Yeah.
So yeah, but buffed more so in the sense of how that Red Bull looked in the last how many races have we had? 3. That looks like they've figured out a few things. He put it on second.
Yeah.
So very good qualifying. And then even though the race start didn't go the way he planned, the fact that that car was able to fight through the field and get back up into a very high points finishing position.
Yeah.
We saw in the last race, he was just bogged in the mid pack. He couldn't do anything. It was very unusual for us to see. So
And I'm sure if all the interviews that'll come out, he'll probably say he had a great race, a fun race. You know? These are the races that they enjoy. He's got a good car under him. Not the circumstances he wants, getting dropped to the back like that, but he got to have a good ding-dong race with everybody and end up with a good result. I mean, I would have loved to have seen him up in the mix with Norris and Kimi. So that was taken away from us, but
we have to continue because I'm getting a bit worried about you. You're bringing up red bits and ding-dongs and, I'm worried where this is going. So, second nominee is Colapinto, P8, which good on him.
That's worthy of a shout out, and that's it.
Yeah.
Move on.
And the third nomination is Williams scoring double points, so P9 and P10. So not quite best of the rest, like how I was sort of saying before. There's really only sort of 2 points to finish there, but obviously with Hadjar having his little moment, created an extra opportunity in the top 10 there.
They're all definitions of a buff, really. I mean, from Max's season to where he was today, Colapinto's entire career, up until this point,
he equaled his highest place finish. I think
and we know he came out like a smoking gun with Williams, which had a decent car a couple of years ago, and Alpine nowhere. And I said to you during the broadcast, like he's flipped with Gasly for this race at least. I mean, Gasly had no pace to be down there in the first place with the Lawsons of it all, and then didn't score points.
No,
not his fault, but didn't score points, had no pace, and crashed.
That's what happens when you're fighting down in the mud there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he obviously had a good quali, and that car's still no good, that Alpine. So good result. So again, definition of a buff. And then Williams. Well, I said when we did the Iceberg episode, maybe they're pissing on the engines. The mechanics.
yeah.
Maybe that's the ingenuity they need to take on, and maybe they're taking that on.
They're going back to the old school methods.
yeah. So maybe that's what they're doing. We'll have to hit up Ted's notebook and see.
So who do you want to give to then?
I could probably Max. I think the other two probably a bit of fortune. Involved.
I think so. I think that's fair. I mean, that Red Bull looked dreadful, and to the point where everyone was like, including us, Max is going to quit.
Yeah.
So to pull that car into second place, I think that alone is worthy. But then to have the kind of race that he had, where he spins out and he fights back through the field, but he actually can.
Yeah.
I think it shows that either him or the car or a combination of the two have improved quite significantly. So,
and he's back to shitting on his teammate. I mean, he was way faster than him in quali.
Oh yeah.
So things are taken back to their natural order a little bit.
The next category is the nerfed. So your 3 contenders are McLaren's pace from sprint to race.
Yep.
Something got nerfed there completely.
Yeah. So I mentioned it during the broadcast, the live, that they've opened up the Parc Ferme regs this year from between the sprint and the race, which they used to be locked down. So I don't think it's a good thing because teams had one practice session and then they had to lock in their entire weekend then and there. Doesn't matter what happens, or you suffer in pit lane. And that didn't make a whole lot of sense because most other weekends you have 3 practice sessions to figure it out, and now you only get 1, and then you're locking yourself in. That's a big commitment. And I think that might be the detriment of McLaren coming 1-2 in the sprint and seemingly dominating the field. Is they're probably pretty comfortable. Like they would have made changes 100%, but they're probably not digging as deep into their bag as a team like Mercedes, who were probably a little bit shocked at how the sprint quali went.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Even Ferrari. So I think it's more of a case of the other teams making bigger changes, bigger swings, because they, again, have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Whereas McLaren are like, we dominated that.
Do you want to hear the other two?
I do.
Yeah. Could just check in.
Okay.
You know? The second one is Ferrari no longer looking like the second best team. So they are definitely slipping there. And third, the sprint race being pretty much a non-event.
Yeah.
So biggest nerf. Who do you think has earned that this weekend?
Well, you got to give it to Ferrari, I think. I mean, they've gone from like able to kind of race with the Mercedes for half a race
Yeah.
to are they the fourth best team?
Yeah. I mean, Hamilton was nowhere.
No.
The whole race.
Yeah. And they
Quiet
kept saying
and
he
by
had damage,
himself.
but there was nothing visually, and he was able to hold on to cars. He wasn't able to really pass anyone, but he didn't seem to have like terrible pace. He
No.
was just
It wasn't like
last
his
year, he
side
was just
pod
like
had a gaping hole or something.
yeah,
so-
or the wing had some damage, or I mean George was literally visible damage, and he was able to race Max fine and finish fourth.
Same with Leclerc. He apparently had busted up wheel.
Yeah. And I mean, the sprint in hindsight was absolutely a nerf event in comparison to the GP. But that's a positive. It's an absolute positive.
Yeah.
So I think Ferraris are the biggest nerf. I mean, coming that week, that 4 weeks off has not been kind to them.
No.
I mean, they spent the first 3 races developing this 180 wing just for Red Bull to rock up. Out of nowhere, we have a 180 wing too, and we've done it better.
And it's more gapey.
It is a big old hole. It's a hallway.
I agree. I think Ferrari deserve the biggest nerf. They look like they've not improved to the same level as certainly McLaren and probably Red Bull. Red Bull look like they've, as we just mentioned, made some pretty big improvements. So, all right, the AFK achievement. AFK means away from keyboard.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right, so Hadjar getting disqualified from qualifying. I did see something. Was it something about having the left and the right floor panels incorrectly installed, like they were opposites or something? There was something.
I read a headline. There was something was 2 millimeters too long.
No, so you're right. That's it. I think it was the
might have been the barge
skid
boards,
plates or something. Were two. That's
2 millimeters. That's a lot.
That's in F1 terms.
That's a lot.
And for some guys like you, 2 mils.
I'd love an extra 2 mil.
B or number 2, cars being unable to defend. So I've pretty much taken that as a direct quote from Piastri. We covered it at the beginning of the episode.
So the AFK is defending.
Defending, yeah. So, which has probably been a problem in the sport for a while, but maybe the frustration's coming that the attack mode is so significant that you literally you have no option, even with like positioning the car. So,
look, I got to say, I think Piastri is I'm surprised to hear it from him. I mean, we saw him
just tread lightly here, right?
I don't know. I feel like you really set me up to just like to shit on him. I don't know if you're trying to make him hate me or what.
No. If you're shitting on him, that's with your own free will.
I'm not like shitting on him, but we saw in Japan, he's so far shown to be the only car at that point who had the ability to defend. He let Russell through, got him back, didn't let him through again. Didn't let anyone through that race at all. It was a blockade. So there's that. And then I feel like through the race, I think we saw a couple of times Russell passed him and he passed him back. And then the only time that there was an outlying event was when Leclerc tried his hardest the first time to bin it and Piastri passed him. And in normal, like last year's cars, he's gone. Like he was gone. He was half a second up the road already. And Leclerc just drove past him.
Yeah.
So that 100% is like...
So that's like maybe Oscar had no battery and
that's
Leclerc
what I'm thinking.
Went off and then had I need to undo everything, deployed his whole load.
Yeah.
And then...
But that's the thing. That was an out of sync situation. That wasn't... Like, again, these drivers know when to use their battery, when they shouldn't, and how they should, and all the rest of it. That position on track is not an overtaking position, so he was probably not in a position... Like, he probably used his battery in a sense that he knew he'd be able to slipstream Leclerc, but then all of a sudden, there's no slipstream there, and Leclerc's in a position where he's like, I want my battery to defend, whereas now they've switched around because Leclerc's gone off. Now he's lost his slipstream, and he doesn't have as much battery. Whereas Leclerc has now got the slipstream and his entire battery that is
Which
planned
is
to
pretty
defend
nuts
with.
to think a car can essentially make a mistake, go off, but then undo it within a matter of seconds.
So I think that's what I was sort of talking about. And I think, again, because that's an anomaly, because Charles went off, that wasn't an overtaking position. He wasn't intending on passing him there. I think that's what he's referring to more than anything, because of all the cars I've seen, he's had the best luck with defense, I feel like.
Do you want to hear the third?
Yeah.
The rain
That is AFK.
and wet tires as a combination. They kind of go hand in hand. So
I'm starting to think they actually just don't bring him.
I don't think Pirelli actually make any tires.
Yeah, and they're actually just like, oh no, it's got to rain. We didn't bring any.
Like, this is the biggest clue here, I think. Right. So we were hearing going into the weekend, there's storms and rain forecasted for the race.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to say Monday morning, but that's Australia time.
Yep.
So, that without already sort of planting the seed, like, it could be cancelled, could be delayed, whatever it is. Now, when we were watching the race, they said that the rain was due to start 5 p.m. local time. So the local time was 4 p.m. start. So roughly around halfway through the race, rain was going to hit, right?
Yeah.
So what do? They move it forward, not 1 hour, not 2 hours.
Yeah.
They move it forward 3 hours. That to me says they don't want to have anything to do with the rain.
Well, I just quickly checked the F1 for any updates, and I noticed F2 had a race after F1, and it was raining.
Yeah.
So maybe.
So it is there.
The rain's there, yeah. And the F2 are racing in it.
So
the junior category.
If they started an hour beforehand, they probably finished the race before the rain hits, or you maybe just get it at the end of it, which I would have even still been happy with that.
Yep.
If you did it 2 hours beforehand, once again, you're probably not seeing any of the rain. But a full 3 hours seems very extreme for F1. And like, as you just mentioned, clearly F2 are out there racing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, I think I said to you in the podcast, it's...
By the way, are we giving it to the rain and the wet tires here? Or?
Yeah. I think that's the definition of AFK. I think Oscar's wrong. I think they're harder to defend, but I think that means what we want is more overtaking. Yeah. So naturally, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I can't remember the first one, so silly.
It was a Hadjar's disqualification.
Yeah. Well, that's... Yeah. I don't think that's AFK. I think that's more of a team stuff up. I don't know how they managed to make such a mistake. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah,
I think it's AFK. I mean, we the rain. We all week they talk about it all week, and then it doesn't happen. And I thought, hey, I don't want to race in a monsoon. If it's Hurricane Katrina out there, sure. Let's not have spectators out there. Let's not race.
Plus, I'm thankful that I'm not still staying up going, are we going to watch any racing?
Yeah, exactly. Red flag.
Yeah.
But I honestly thought we'd get some rain. I thought, hey, if it's a monsoon, surely it'll start with a little bit of rain. Apparently, if you talk to F1, they think it goes from no rain, monsoon. So that's a shame. I thought we'd have some it's showering, it's raining, of course, and it's going to get really bad. And then that's when we'll, we won't be racing at that point. Yeah. So that was disappointing. And like you said, I think it's got a lot to do with them really wanting to get this race in or needing to get this race in after the break they just had.
Yeah.
And the fears, it may get cancelled and all the rest of it. I think they were like, we just need this weekend to go smooth. We don't want 4 hours of red flag time. We don't want the race shortened because of rain or fully cancelled because of how bad it can get. So I think I try not to be a conspiracy theorist. I try to think we will one day again see wet racing, and that this is just an overreaction to the break we've just had, more so than these cars will not race in the rain.
F1 do like to overreact. So,
they do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so the final category is the Easter egg category. So it's a stat or a fact from the weekend. So I already know mine's going to be better than yours, so I'll let you go first. What was it?
I'm changing mine. So mine was Kimi Antonelli is the third driver to get his first three career poles consecutively, which I thought was pretty interesting. And he was in very good company. Ayrton and Michael Schumacher are the other two.
Yep.
But then I saw today, and I think it's interesting. So then he's the third driver to also get his first 3 career wins on the trot.
Right, okay.
Damon Hill and Mika Hakkinen. as the other two.
Yeah, okay.
But I just think it's great, as we said earlier, that he's the first driver in history to do those three things at the same time.
Yeah, okay.
So
Yeah, cool.
I think that's those three stats all mingled in together. But God, some good company to be in.
Yeah. Okay, so here's mine. You're gonna
Bunch
love
of
this
world
one.
champions.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he's looking more and more like he's destined to be one.
Yeah.
So, okay, you're gonna love this. Strap in. Aston Martin,
Correct. Yeah.
your boy Fernando, he
Fernando.
races for them. Well, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
he time
I
trials with them.
was gonna say I don't know if you can call what they're doing racing,
Yeah.
but
They're not practicing pit stops. I wonder if they sacked the crew. That's why they weren't doing a pit stop.
yeah. Aston Martin is slower than all of Formula 2. The slowest F2 time was a 1 minute 41.1. The fastest Aston Martin time was a 1 minute 41.3.
Wow. So I did see that. I saw the F2 pole time was faster than the Astons. I thought that was crazy. I can't believe the whole field
entire field. Yeah. So Aston Martin, they're in all sorts.
That's crazy.
So, like I said, I don't know if this is just a thing of like Nui has cooked up some like psychotic shit and it just needs to be ironed out. And when it does, like look out.
Better big iron.
If he's just had, or if they've made this Frankenstein undrivable car, you know.
That's crazy. I mean, you can see, I pointed it out during the live, you could see not only are they down in straight line speed, but that car was understeering like a mother on the soft tires. Like watching him follow, who was he following? I think it was a Cadillac. I think it was Perez through the chicane, entering the final back straight. Like you watch most cars, they may be putting in 45 degrees of steering angle, maybe touching close to 90, maybe rarely. He was over 90 degrees steering angle, getting through all of those corners. I mean, this is why I have you on the show, because you pick up stupid shit like that. Yeah,
you know.
But it's not like it kills your tires. It's obviously very slow, and then you're comparing that. You've got you're pairing that with the fact that they have no straight line speed. Like it's not like Haas, who are like bullets, 350 kilometers an hour, fastest of them all.
They just can't make corners.
Exactly, yeah.
But they can't do corners, but we do straights.
Yeah.
They're a speedway car.
Exactly. Yeah, they're a drag car. Yeah. So that's a problem for them. They clearly, I mean, that's down to Adrian Newey and the understeering of that car. If he could build, because he can. But if he built a good chassis and the suspension works well with it and they work in conjunction nicely with the tires, the car would turn on a dime. But the car also doesn't turn.
No.
And then it doesn't have straight line speed.
No, it's dreadful.
It's bad in all four corners of that car.
Yeah. We did it. We made it through a 3 a.m. live view and a early morning recording.
Yeah.
And we get to, F1 has a break. We'll be back next week, probably with some F1 news, I'd assume.
Probably.
And then, Canada, I think we'll decide how we feel, whether we want to do
if we're rested or not. If we're live.
Yeah. Maybe we stick with the lives for...
pleasant times.
Yeah. Decent times. So,
yeah.
We'll see how we go. But thanks for joining us this episode again. If you haven't liked, subscribed, or followed us for some reason, what the hell are you doing?
Yep.
You know,
we're out there. TikTok, Instagram.
You've hung out for us for an hour and you can't give the video a like. Are your fingers broken?
Or a comment. Yeah.
Yeah, Timmy loves comment.
Yeah.
So
I do love a comment. Keeps me relatively busy. When people comment, it keeps me very busy.
Well, who actually wants to do your proper job?
That's right.
When you can talk F1 all day with the fans. So
exactly. Keep me entertained.
Yeah. Good to see Oscar get a podium. So hopefully we see more of that coming up. But until then, we will catch you next week.
All right. See you in Canada.
See you then.
All right.
GG's.
Bye.